Hi folks, I've been playing with the 114s and opening them on camera and looking at the methods that you can use when curtain picking on these to get a success, and also start to understand the feedback. And it's still early days for me. Take this one here that came off a job during the week, and what I've done is I've used the Turner Staddon reader key and taken a reading on this, which has basically resulted in me building the pick as follows. And when I pop this in, it takes a few run throughs, but I only need to run through 2 or 3 times and this lock will open. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why it's taken that long to open and not on the first occasion. I've noticed this with the a lot of the 114s. When you use this pick, they tend not to open as quickly as you would like them to. There we go, that's got that one. And there's a reason for that, and I didn't realize that reason until I came to curtain pick this one, because if I take that out and if I pop the curtain pick in, now interestingly enough, if you take the short wire that I use for opening the leg, if I pop that in the back side of this curtain pick here, this is obviously the 8-ball pick. Now, if I push it to the front of the, the back of the lock, and then if we look at the angle of the puck, and I bring it forward, so that's lever 5, 4, 3, lever 2 jumps to there, and lever 1 is even higher. So what's interesting about this is you can obviously decode, so that's lever 1, that's lever 2, and that's lever 3. So the pin heights A, B, C in the Staddon Turner kits, and the differences that the plasticine read, you can still visually detect those differences using the indicator here on the end of the pick wire. So that is obviously a high lift. That's sort of intermediate, and then the low lifts are at the back. So I thought, okay, well let's just curtain pick this then. And I've had to custom make this wire. It's involved a lot of flattening, filing, and changing the profile of the wire. It's only usable now on this particular lock, and the reason being is the lever bellies sit so close to the curtain that they actually impede the movement of the wire in and out of the lock. So let's just sort the focus out. There we go. So basically, when you first work on this lock, you can see that I'm having to pull that quite hard to get the pick wire back underneath all of the levers. So you don't have clear access backwards and forwards. And if you hold great handfuls of tension on your left hand there, you won't get the lock open. But so what I've been doing is just having a gentle tension and just pulling that backwards and forwards. And that has, to a certain degree, been helping matters, because the levers are parked up a little bit now. And so we know that the first 3 levers in this lock are low lift, and without me even turning this pick, I've got a tapping lever there. And what it means is that particular lever height is the height of the pick wire underneath it, between the curtain and the belly of the lever. So lever 5 is already set, and if we come back, if I pull that back out, there we go, and then if we just corkscrew forward, so now I'm underneath lever 1 now, and if you have a listen, I don't know if you heard, there was a little clunk then. What's happened is that lever has, the bolt has jumped back. The lever was grinding against the bolt stump, and now you can see it's gone very loose. It just goes all the way to the top of its travel and doesn't do anything. Now, this is the highest lift lever in this lock. Let's go to lever 2. Okay, there's a little clunk there. It was binding, and now the bolt has jumped back slightly. And if we have a listen, we can hear that lever 2 is tapping quite nicely there in its gate. So there's 1, which is just lots of movement. There's 2, little tap. Let's corkscrew under 3 to get to 4. Let's lift 4 up. Okay, so 4 is in gate. Let's come back again. Go back to 1. 1, 2, corkscrew under 3, 4. Let's just give 5 a little nudge up to the height of the wire. There it is tapping. There's 4. There's 1. That was binding again. And that's important because each time I'm going backwards and forwards through this lock, what's happening is lever 1 is increasingly binding more and more. It's almost as if, there we go. It's almost as if the other levers are ever so slightly holding off that lever on the front. And by walking backwards and forwards along those levers and then keep nudging 1, it's like moving that lever up a ramp. So I wanted to know why lever 1 was binding and then it released, and then the only way of actually getting the lock open, you can hear now, lever 1 now is tapping. So I thought, well, what's going on there? Why is that making this lock so tedious to pick, having to go backwards and forwards? And when I took the cap off this lock, I found the answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to take the cap off, and I'm going to put a Perspex training cap on there, and then we can actually see what's going on when I'm picking this, and it'll start to make a whole lot more sense. Right, so I've taken the cap off and I've put this training cover on here. I don't normally advocate using these because they change the characteristics of the lock and the way that it behaves and the way that it opens, and they don't always hold the levers in the same way or the same place. In this instance, it does seem to make a little bit of a difference in as much as we can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Staddon Turner pick in first, and you'll be able to see what influence those pins have that we've got in there at the moment. And as you can see, it's pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle backwards and forwards. So there's 1. Let's get my thumb out of the way. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now what you'll notice is 1 moved up. Oh, well, there you are. Well, that's obviously having the training case on there has made the lever stick to the side here. But what you'll notice is there's no false gates on this first lever here. It's a plain lever, and I've been told by Stuart Allen that this is what's known as a rapid drop lever. So when you set it, it's designed to be set and then literally not bind and drop back down again, because there isn't anything on that fence to keep it up in the air. So when we curtain pick this, here we go again. I might need to just move this out of the way ever so slightly. There we go. Otherwise I think I'm going to keep on hitting the camera. So when we curtain pick this, let's put the pick in. Let's get the wire. Now, I said just now that the thickness of the wire, I'll try to do this around the camera here. Let me just get the camera, there we go. Right, The thickness of the wire inside the lock is actually the height of these levers at the back there. Everything's in the way here. There we go. So let's get that hand out of the way. So now the wire is underneath lever 5, and you can see just the height of the wire underneath that lever has lifted it up slightly, and that's actually put it in gate. So if we have a listen, you can hear it tapping, and you can see that it's actually you know, just literally sitting on the wire is enough to set that lever. There are no deadlift levers in this lock. Deadlift being levers that don't actually need to be lifted at all. But having the wire underneath this one has effectively made it into a deadlift lever. We don't need to lift it at all. So let's pull the pick back, get it underneath 4, and you can see that 4 isn't ready to bind. So let's put it all the way to the front of the lock. There we go. And now I am underneath lever 1, and this is the rapid drop lever. So I said this was binding before, and if you look, I don't know if you heard that, but it bound up to a point, and now, as you can see, it's just moved up slightly. You can see the gap above it, so there's a slight gap just here above the bolt stump, but that's all that's actually moved up. So the binding on that was just literally that little bit of movement. So let's go to 2. There we are. 2 is set in gate. There's 3. I'm going to corkscrew underneath 3 without knocking the camera off its stand. And there's 4. Let's see if 4 is now ready to bind. Come on, get under lever 4. There we go. So there's 4. So you've heard 4 bind, and now 4. You can see that 4 is set. Let's come back to the front of the lock, and now you can see that lever 1 is still just bouncing up and down. So 1 is loose, 2 is in gate, 3 is in gate, so 5 is in gate, and now 4 is in gate. Okay, so now you see, well, I might be able to lift that up now and get the lock open. Let's see, there we go. So what's happening is that that side without anything on it, the fence without anything on it, no anti-pick notches or protrusions, which means that the lever goes up and it then drops straight back down and binds, and you need to walk that lever up. So when I'm cycling backwards and forwards through this pack, when the cap's on and picking this, that lever is obviously going up incrementally each time I go backwards and forwards, until obviously it lines up with the true gate on the bolt stump. Now let me just move back a second here, because I want to show you something else. Let's take that out, and let's just change the focus again to the back there. There we go. So if I pop this in, if I put my pick in, and then if I use the short wire that I had just now, if I can find it on my bench, which is an absolute tip, somewhere on here there's a short wire. Where are you? I don't think it's this one here. There we go, that's got it. It's here. So if I now pop this short wire in there, and I was talking about the angle on the handle here, the puck, and everything's in the way again now. Let's just move that forward again. In fact, let's move the whole thing forward. There we go. Great joy. Turn it around that way. Sorry about all this messing around. And we'll go into focus there. There we go. Look at that. So now you can see that when this wire is at the back there, you can see that it's the angle that's at when it's hitting the bellies, or in fact it's almost the heels of the levers at the back there. And then when it comes forward to lever 2, you can see that it goes up more upright because the wire is allowed to move in. And then if we go under the belly of 1, you can see that it's really upright now. So that's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So you can detect the 3 groups of levers by feeling the angle on this puck. Although obviously taking a plasticine read is just as informative and will tell you pretty much what you need to know. But if you're going to take a plasticine read, then you might as well go the full hog and use this excellent tool to get the lock open, rather than struggle through with a curtain pick. So anyway, this is work in progress very much. I'm obviously picking these. They're not the easiest of locks to pick, but they are relatively easy to decode. Therefore, you can get the open on them based on the knowledge that you've gained from doing the decode and how far you need to lift the levers. Okay, I might put another lock in the vise, and we'll just quickly run through that one and see if we can get it open. Right, I've taken this lock out and I've replaced it with this one. What I'm going to do very quickly is just take a quick read off the heels and see what we're dealing with. And let's have a look at the angle of the puck. So if we go 5, it's 45 degrees, 5, 4, 3. Okay, 5, 4 and 3 are all low lifts. 3, 2 has gone almost vertical, and 1's back a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically we've got a lever 1 is a medium lift, and then we've got a high lift, and then we've got 3 low lifts at the back, again, like pretty much like the last lock. So if they are low lifts, when I pop this wire in and pick up the tension, then it should obstruct the movement, which it is. So that's if that's a sign, that's what we need to see. So let's just start picking this. Okay, so lever 5 is tapping almost immediately in its gate, and I haven't actually really lifted that. So let's go to lever 4. Is lever 4 binding a little bit? No, lever 4 is in its gate as well. So 5, gate, 4 is in its gate. Let's go 3. 3's in its gate. So 5, 4 and 3 are set. Let's go to lever 2. Just got a little jump back on the bolt there. And because this is a high lift, I'm going to take it a little bit further. And there's nothing. So it's kind of jumped back a bit because it was binding. Now it's no longer binding, and we've got free movement. That sounds very familiar. That's like a rapid drop lever there on lever 2. Let's go to 1. 1's binding. Let's lift them up slightly, very gently. Okay, 1's lifted up to what I would call a medium lift. Let's go back and check the rest of the lock. 5, 4, and 3 are all good. 2, let's just jump the bolt back a little bit more. So we've got this this creeping exercise going on here. 5, 4, get underneath 3. That's good. 2's just up there. 1, 5, 4, 3. 2 is So I've just gone into anti-pick. So one of these levers has been overlifted. Let's have a look. There's 1. So 5, there's 4, there's 3. So lever 5 has been overlifted. There's no recovery from that. So I'm going to reset the lock, and I'm just going to have another quick pick. So 5 basically is virtually in the gates, even with just the puck underneath it, just the wire underneath it. So we'll leave that alone. What we'll do is we'll just pull underneath it and leave it alone. Let's try lifting 4. Sounds like it's in gates. Let's go to 2. A little jump back on the bolt again. Let's go to 1. 1's in gate, 2's in gate. Okay, I'm not going to lift 5 or 3. I'm just going to go underneath them. Let's try. There we go. There's 4. 2's moved a little bit. 1's moved a little bit. Backwards and forwards. Try 2 again. 2's moved a little bit more. Backwards and forwards. 2 is gone very firm. Let's try 1. 1's in gate. So this is very close now to opening, I'm pretty certain. So let's try 5, 4, 3. Let's go to 2. One's in gate. 5's in gate. 4's in gate. 3 has been overlifted. Yeah. So now I've overlifted 3. Right, one more attempt. So we'll just pull through, trying not to disturb those really low lift levers. Let's see what 3's doing, 4's doing. Okay, let's see what 2's doing. 2's allowed the bolt to move slightly. 1. Move underneath those. Keep moving underneath lever 3. Try not to overset it. 3. Let's get back under 5, just in case that's dropped down. There we go. 5's good. 4's good. 3's good. 2 has just moved the bolt back a little bit. 1, 2. Let's go all the way backwards and forwards. Let's give 4 a nudge. Go to 2. Yeah, 2 is creeping up. Go all the way back there. Go back to 2 again. So 1's in gate. 2's just in the air. 3, 4, 5. Back to 2. Yeah, we're getting very close now. 5, 4, 3, 1, 2. There we go, we got it. Wow, that was a bit of a marathon, that one. A little bit of a balancing act. Yeah, I'm not sure. That was my finest pick. But we read the lock, and we had some very low levers at the back there, which were obstructing the pick wire, and just the process of pushing that backwards and forwards was enough to overlift those levers, 3 and 5. 4 needed little nudges, but I don't know if you saw, but lever 2, I just had to keep nudging it up its ramp. So lever 2 in this lock is that rapid drop lever without with just a plain fence, and it binds a little bit at a time, and you have to go backwards and forwards through the lock to get it to bind over and over again until it reaches up to its true gate. So there you go. They're a fun pick. It may look a bit of a struggle, but actually they are a fun pick. They make you think, and the tolerances inside these are a lot tighter than a lot of the other locks that we come up against. So which is why obviously the Staddon Turner pick is definitely the tool for opening these. You've just seen me struggle with this for quite a while, and if I just pop the Turner pick in there with the right pin configuration, I'll just swap that around. Let's just get the curtain square. There we go. Let's just see what it's going to take to get it open with this now. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go back 1. There we go. So that's opened really quickly with this. So so it just shows that I need to either increase my proficiency with the picking, or just carry on using this tool, which is just does the job over and over again. Okay guys, well that's just the start of my journey with the 114s, and yeah, I just thought I'd share my initial picking experience with these, and with any luck things will get easier and easier with them, to the point where maybe I can rival the timing of this. I doubt it very much. You'd have to go some to really beat this tool. All right, cheers then, bye for now.